Before the Southlands would feel the sting of invasion, before the Ratmen would crawl up from the sewers, two armies would meet in the Chaos Waste to determine which warlord would be powerful enough to lead the forces of destruction. The battlefield was mostly a desolate piece. Using the Citadel warboard, the giant hill in the center counted as two pieces. And we generated there, you can see a Bane stone, represented by the Lord of the Rings statue. In the center we have an altar of Cain. We have a dwarf stone. And off in the corner, represented by Nagash, we have an idol of Gork. Alright, turn one started with Slaanesh, Tzeentch winning the roll-off to see who goes first, and he allowed the Slaaneshi army to go first. So, we'll start off in there on their battle line. Anchoring the left side was a unit of Marauders. There's 30 Marauders, and they are in a defensive formation with hand, weapon, and shield, and they've got armor. And a Sorcerer of Chaos, level 2, Slaanesh, is hiding out with them. Next to them we have a unit of Chaos Warriors with dual weapons. There are 20 of them, and the Battle Standard Bearer is with them. To the right of that we have a unit of 32 Marauders with flails. In front of all three of this unit is a screen of 15 hounds, broken into 3 units apiece. Next to the Marauders is the artillery piece, the Hell Cannon, and then to the right we have the heavy cavalry consisting of the Chaos Knights backed up by a Chaos Chariot. So they're not running by themselves. And finally, the Lion is riding his Manicore, and he is deployed in the center back portion of the line since he can just fly over. Looking out across for magic items, this is a game limited by campaign resources, so I had 2 magic items I could use, and I bought a third one with a gold piece from the campaign resources. The Lion has an armor, or excuse me, a 4+ ward save from the main rulebook. The Battle Standard Bearer I gave the Armor of Damnation, so any hits that hit him in combat would have to be re-rolled. And then finally I gave the Chaos Warriors the Razor Standard to give them a -1 to the armor save that they inflict. And here you can see the layout of both sides actually. We'll get to the Tzeentch side on their turn. The Chaos turn, which this picture represents the movement for, shows everything basically moves up. The Altar of Cain is going to come to play a role, as that is going to stir a frenzy up in the middle of the table, so now the Lion on his Manicore is frenzied, as well as some hounds. Magic phase went off, and the Chaos Sorcerer rolled up the Ecstatic Seizures, number 6 spell. He threw it off with Irresistible Force, which caused 8 of the 20 Chaos Warriors at his target were to die, but unfortunately he took out 17 of his own Marauders and blew himself up. Finally, the Hell Cannon went off and shot at the Demon Prince and ended up doing 3 wounds to him with a direct hit, leaving him with 1. On the Tzeentch side of things, Tzeentch was reeling from losing 3/4 of their wounds on their Demon Prince, as well as taking a chunk out of the Chaos Warriors, which you can see. From his left side, he's got a unit of 20 Chaos Warriors armed with great weapons. And in the middle we have a unit of 30 Marauders with flails, and they too had a hound screen. Some horsemen with a Chaos Sorcerer centered in the middle, a unit of horrors on the hill, and Chaos Knights are anchoring his right flank across from mine. He's also got his Exalted Hero in those Chaos Knights, so he's kind of stronger on that side. The Tzeentch side just saw them shift up a little bit, as you can see in the picture. The Demon Prince went to work with the magic phase, pounding out some spells. He was able to get off the Infernal Gateway, which is the number 6 Tzeentch spell. Unfortunately, he also Irresistible Force and ended up losing 3 of his levels, so he is now down to being a level 1 wizard, as well as being hurt. So he was going to kind of be gimped for the rest of the game. And other than that, that was about it. Moving into turn 2, we now have some frenzied units, and Tzeentch is kind of reeling a little bit. Turn 2 is very active for Slaanesh. with their left side getting hit by magic, they needed to go ahead and close the gap. So the dog line charged each other. The Marauders on the left side that were down to about 9 guys, they decided to charge the dogs. The Knights in the chariot foolishly charged from the right flank very, very far away, and they ended up missing. The chariot almost hit, but he was an inch short, so that left him hanging right next to the Chaos Knights with no support, and that was real bad. Other than that, the rest of the Slaanesh army moved forward, and the Marauders in the middle had to reform their hordes so they could get around the Altar of Cain. The Hell Cannon popped a shot at the Knights, hoping to kind of do some damage, but unfortunately it missed. In combat, the Marauders break the dogs. The dog line is basically broken except for one set of dogs in the middle, and the Chaos Lord of Manticore charges the Horseman and ends up, even though whiffing his attacks, his 2 wounds enable him to beat the Horsemen, but they ended up staying. And finally, the Tzeentch horde of Marauders fled in response to the dogs being broken. So that was bad from the Tzeentch point of view. Slaanesh is slowly pushing forward. Now Brad Tzeentch turn 2. He's going to go ahead and try to rally some points and get his line pushed back up. His Knights charged my chariot, which decides to flee, and he redirected into my Knights. His warriors slam into my Marauders, which choose to hold to protect my other warriors' flank, even though I know they're about to get drilled. The 30 fleeing Marauders go ahead and rally as he was fleeing dogs, so his line turns around, and he moves his Demon Prince away into the Dwarven ruins to try to hide it from the Hell Cannon. The magic phase didn't see much, other than the pink horrors were able to cast the Aura of Chaos, which was able to slay 3 of the 5 hounds coming up the right flank at them. But other than that, the rest of the magic was shut down. In hand-to-hand combat, the warriors do obliterate the Marauders. The dogs in the middle end up fighting to a draw. My Chaos Lord takes on the Sorcerer in a challenge, destroys them, and defeats the Horsemen and runs them off. And they're off fleeing. And finally, the Knights versus the Knights on the right side of the flank. They charge home. They ended up drawing. So the right side is still pretty static. Now Slaanesh turn 3 kicks off. My warriors go ahead and they'll hit the Tzeentch warriors in the flank, hoping to drive them off the left side of the table and secure that for me. The 2 remaining dogs on the right side have to charge the unit of horrors as they're frenzied, so this should be entertaining. My chariot keeps fleeing down the right flank. He won't rally. And then finally, the Marauders, with my Marauders with flails, are moving up center of the table to try to hit the Chaos Knights in their flank, providing mine can hold steady. The shooting phase saw the Hell Cannon lob an indirect shot, which managed to directly hit the Demon Prince and hit him for 6 wounds, ended up killing him, so the Demon Prince was removed out of the game. In combat, my warriors did indeed destroy the Tzeentch warriors. They beat them by 5 and ran them down. The Chaos Lord on the Manticore ends up running down what was left of, the big horde of Marauder Flailmen, grabbing his 2nd banner, and the Knights, Slaanesh Knights end up losing by a couple, but hold the right flank, which leads to turn 3 for Tzeentch. Tzeentch turn 3 kicks off with the Horsemen rallying in the center of the table. They make a leadership check and they go ahead and move to the center of the field to try to lend some support where they can. The remaining Chaos Warhound decides to move towards the Hell Cannon and see what happens there, and the Horrors turn to face the Lord of the Manticore, who is steadily looking like he's going to be a threat coming back up the hill. In the magic phase, the Horrors go ahead and Gift of Chaos one of the 32 Marauders, dropping 1, so there's 31 left, and then they cast a flame spell on the Manticore and actually do 2 wounds to the Behemoth monster coming at him from there. Hand-to-hand only saw the Knights versus the Knights once more, and again the Tzeentch Knights win combat, but the Slaanesh Knights stay, making their leadership check exactly what they need. Turn 4 was just kind of the end of the game. It was a mop-up session. The Manticore flew back up onto the hill in the Slaanesh turn to face the Horsemen, just in case they decided to charge up there, kind of keep them at bay. The Hell Cannon launches a shell at the Horseman, ends up misfiring, but the misfire rolls a 6, which makes it the shell is the super powerful version, which the Hell Cannon can't shoot anymore, but it didn't matter because the Hell lands smack dab in the middle of the Horseman and runs them off the field in panic. So all in all, the Marauders hit the Horrors in the flank and popped them, and there wasn't really much left on the table after that. Turn 4 for Tzeentch, which you can see here. The 1 remaining dog charges the Hell Cannon just for the hell of it, and he almost actually did a wound. The dwarves beat him down though, and the Knights, the Slaanesh Knights were able, or the Tzeentch Knights, were able to finally run off the Slaaneshi knights, grab the banner, and then chase after him. So that was a kind of a minor victory for the Tzeentch armies to be able to knock the knights out. So all in all, end of the game, the final score coming up was 2,213 to 735.